Hey, it's Del Jackson, LLhoops.com Zoom. In August, it's about time we got some content, and we have one of the top media guys from Lebanon County with us today. Is Jeff Falk. Jeff Falk, he's done so many things. We're going to talk to him about it, what he's doing now and what he's done in the past. He's got connections to print media. He's got connections to websites. He's got connections to radio. So we're going to welcome Jeff and talk a little bit today about his coverages. Hi, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
Doing really well, Del. Thanks for having me. I know it's August, but that basketball season isn't that far off.
Well, I mean, we'll probably talk about football a little bit today because I know you guys in the media, you're all wound up for football. We just concentrate on one thing. So, hey, you and I talked off camera a little bit. Just give us a brief rundown of your career, and then I'll follow up with some questions.
Okay. So I worked at the Lebanon Daily News for 26 years and was laid off in 2009. Since then, I've been doing kind of like a lot of different things, a lot of sports, some feature stuff, some on the, like you said, some on the internet, some with print, some on the radio. So just want to keep my hands in it and, serve the Lebanon County community because I really feel like, Del, there's a void. I think you know that. There's a void for coverage in Lebanon County, and I really want to give people some some things to chew on as far as what's going on locally in Lebanon County.
I know you're one of those sports nuts, and I will say that in a kind way because I know when we go to games up at Cedar Crest or Lebanon, you're there taking pictures, taking notes, writing stories. I mean, you really love what you do, dude, and we appreciate that. Let's talk about, I don't know, let's talk about your most recent foray into website. You talked about Lebtown Sports, which you're writing for now. So give us a little background on Lebtown Sports, what you're doing, what you're trying to do this year with football season.
Okay. Lebtown's been around for about 5 years. Basically has done just news and features. And I've had multiple conversations with the owner and the publisher about getting sports. He thought now would be a good time. You know how this goes, Del. Timing is a huge thing. He thought this would be a good time. So we're going to really jump into Lebtown Sports in the fall, really focus on football. We want to make a big splash with football, see how it goes, see the response that it gets, and then kind of go from there.
Okay, man. Hey, you went purple on me. I don't know if you hit something or what.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I saw that. I
Wow,
see that too.
wow. Oh my
I
God.
don't think I look bad in purple.
Well, all right. We'll do the purple thing, purple rain and all that good stuff. It's not raining outside. Pretty hot. Let's talk about you told me you had connections with the radio station WLBR, and I know LBR is, I think they're the only guys that are doing radio games for high school sports. Is that true? And tell us about what you do with LBR.
Okay, so I think you're right. I don't think anybody in Lancaster is doing like kind of like live play by play. I think they're doing something in Berks. I don't think anybody's doing it in Dauphin County. But in the mornings, I'll go on with Laura LeBeau, and we do a little bit of back and forth in the morning during the morning rush. Her show's called Talk of the Town with Laura LeBeau. So I'll do some of that stuff, a little bit of back and forth with Laura, and we'll talk some sports and interject some local sports with her. And then if I'm out on an assignment or maybe in like at a game or something, I'll give her some audio from kids or coaches or even some feature stuff. We've also branched into some feature stuff with Laura. So she likes the content that I'm providing, and I think it's just another way, Del, to reach the Lebanon community. It's another forum to provide information to the county.
Nice. All right, let's go football trail for a little bit. So
Okay.
I know nothing well, a little bit, but not much about football. So give us some top teams in Lebanon County this year, because that's who you know.
Okay. Well, we're in a unique situation here in Lebanon, Dell. You know, the league got bigger last year with the addition of Berks, you know, and Lebanon's always kind of been that, you know, sort of forgotten cousin off to the side a little bit too. You know, we've got 5 LL teams here. And a lot of times we're going up against some of the bigger schools. I don't think our programs are quite as developed. We don't have the historic significance of some of the other big LL programs. So, you know, I think Cedar Crest is always competitive in Section 1. I think, you know, usually for for Rob Wildison, his goal is to get to districts. You know, he considers that a big thing. Evo Cleona had a very good year last year. They graduated a bunch of kids, so it'll be sort of replacing those guys. Northern Lebanon is under a new coach, and they're continuing to build under Coach Rice, and sort of trying to move the program forward. Elko, with Coach Miller, he does a great job internally with his kids. I think he gives his kids a great experience. I think Section 3 is so difficult to compete in, with some of those schools like Lampeter Stroudsburg, and so the Raiders just don't have that historic tradition to compete with some of those teams realistically. Lebanon hasn't won a game. I think you know this. Lebanon hasn't won a game in 3 years. So Lebanon's looking for just to get off the schneid this year. So I think we hit on everybody. Palmyra, I don't know how much Palmyra's in the mid-pen. And so they're kind of new under a new coach. I think this is Coach Pavone's second year, so they're kind of building too. So that's just a real. I haven't spoken to coaches yet. That first day of practice is on Monday, which is a couple days away. So I think I'll get a little bit better feel for it. But that's kind of like just a quick synopsis.
That's nice. Hey, let's shift to basketball a little bit, because I run into you every once in a while. We go to Lebanon. Lebanon comes down here, Lancaster. We cross paths every once in a while.
Yeah.
Let's go into some media questions.
Okay.
Who in boys basketball, and I know you don't have to hurt anybody's feeling, but who's your best interview up there?
Wow.
Yeah. I always throw a curveball at somebody. This is the one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I have a good rapport with everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's just because I've been around for a little while, and I know those, I know those guys. I'm still feeling out Coach Huffner a little bit. I would say that Tommy has warmed to me just a little bit. Me and Tommy were kind of feeling each other out for many years. So I always have a good time with Coach Connors.
Yeah.
Too. He's very respectful, and he's very open. He's very passionate about his program. Coach Coletti and I have grown over the years too. We've come to have a good mutual respect for each other too. And Chris George is a media guy, so Coach George he's very positive about his kids too. So I think I have a good rapport with everybody, and that's important. I want to have a good rapport with these coaches. I think it's really important.
Oh my! What a politician you are, dude! I love it.
I walked that fence, didn't I? I walked that fence. I didn't stumble one time.
Well, one thing that we do on our website is we put down the tenure of the coaches that are currently coaching. And you got Coach Smith, who's been around for a while. Coach Connor's been around for a while. Even Coach Coletti's been there for a little bit of time. So you got some guys, Coach George. You got some guys up there that kind of know the ropes. They've had good teams. They kind of understand how the media helps them. And I think that's important. I know, like you, we try to build relationships with the coaches very quickly. And as long as we're doing our job and you know, like you, we accents the positive of all things. We're not about, you know, player 15 missed a one-on-one and cost the team the game. You know,
Right.
it's just
Right.
not happening. So let me ask you this on a media standpoint. What has changed from your coverage, let's say, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago to now?
Well, I mean, I think the internet, right, that's the obvious question, Del, you know, or the obvious answer, everything's going away from print. The status of newspapers, in those 10 or 15 years that you're talking about, the Patriot has gone to 3 days, right? The Lebanon Daily News's coverage is almost non-existent at this point, that Pat retired. LNP continues to chug away. I think LNP is kind of, the source that everyone kind of looks to, locally. And I think they do a good job. I feel a little bit like LNP is sort of spread too thin at times. You know what I mean? Like if they're trying to cover Lancaster and Lebanon, that
And
creates
Burke.
opportunity,
And
Burke,
Burke.
right? And Burke, that creates opportunities, and so and I think people realize that and people understand that. But somebody said this to me one time too, like the coverage that kids in Lancaster and Lebanon and Berks and Harrisburg get, that's unique. If you go to some places in the country that are just as big, they don't get this kind of coverage for their kids. So I think it's important to remember that. I think that really puts things into perspective as to, what we do and how we do it. And, I don't know if this kind of coverage would ever go away, but how would that affect it? How would it affect that the level of play? Would there be less kids participating, less kids competing if we didn't cover, the things we did and did the things that we do?
Yeah. I don't know. Things change so quickly. I can think when we started, it changes like a lot. We're going to do a redo on our website, and with the advent of live streaming and Twitter and Facebook, and we're going to try to integrate some things this year that we've never tried. But that's the nice thing. I mean, I don't know, with the website, what we do is we can do different things that the big boys can't do. We can step into the water where, we're a little quicker, we're a little nimbler, and then sometimes it doesn't work. But for us, it's okay. It's all right to try things. And I know sometimes, as far as what LLhoops does, is we do, I'm just going to call it the shotgun approach. So we'll do some interviews like with you. We'll do some Twitter stuff. We'll do some live stream stuff. We'll do some audio stuff. We'll do some preseason. We'll do some postseason. Heck, we're up at Hershey at the end of the year. So it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's not one thing. And I think because of that, you can hit different folks. People on the cell phone aren't going to be doing what I'm doing, looking at the computer and trying to read stories. Yeah. I look at ESPN, and I like to read stories because I'm old school, but a lot of ESPN is the videos, the commentators. I'm like, well, I've already seen these commentators on TV. If I'm watching TV, I don't really want to hear Stephen A again. I've already heard him once, and it's like he's the same shtick. So
right.
Anyway, that's a little bit
You guys do a great job. And you've been at it for a little bit now, and you've touched a lot of lives, and you've brought some coverage to the the area that a lot of people have appreciated, and they wouldn't have gotten any other way unless you guys bring it to them.
Let me ask you this question. How about connections with people that you cover that have gone, that have graduated? I mean, we're dealing with 17-year-old kids, let's face it, 16, 17, and 18. And that's what we do. So have you made connections with kids that you may write a story with, and then they keep in touch with you off screen?
I mean, not as much. I don't think so. And at least throughout my career, and this was true at the Lebanon Daily News, I think, we lost contact. We would lose contact. A kid graduates and they go on to college. Now, unless they're doing something good at a Division I school, those types of things, we will keep in contact. But it's hard. I think this. It's hard. From a basketball standpoint, these kids go off and play Division III, and the LL has a long history of that. Kids going off to college and playing. So I kind of lose track of them a little bit. I'll see them in the street,
Sure.
say hello, those types of things. See their mom and dad, or somebody will come up to me, like just out in town. Hey, do you remember me? That kind of thing. Give me like a name, dude. Give me something. Give me something to go on. So, if you think of it, and Del, this is very true of you and your career too. If you think of the number of kids whose lives you have touched, it's in the thousands. It's hard to keep track. It really is. It really is hard to keep track.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for, that. I was just kind of figuring out that some people will talk to you. We get, every once in a while, I get an email because we're crazy enough to do all-time list of the 80s and the 90s. And then someone will write me out of the blue and say, wait, hey, you missed me, And the nice thing with what we do is I can check into that person, not seeing everybody play all the time. And I can go back to some of the historians, which we're losing left and right, but I can go back and I'll say, okay, how about this kid? Should he be on? And the nice thing with what we do on the website is we can change things. We can add, subtract, and that's kind of nice. I know when the print goes out, it's like, and if I do a typo, which I do quite often, somebody will read it and say, hey, you missed this, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I might say to him, I say, well, I think you're wrong. Check it again, and I've already made the change.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man! All right, buddy. What's on the agenda? We talked about basketball a little bit. We talked about football. So you're going into a new sports year. You got a lot of things on your plate. Like, what's your focus coming up here in football season and basketball season? I mean, you even do some track and some baseball, and
yeah,
boy. I mean,
well, what keeps me going, Del, and this is where you and I differ, I think. What keeps me going is the change in seasons. I love that change in seasons. Yeah. I know your thing is hoops, and you do a great job with it. I think what keeps me fresh is that change of seasons. Just when you get tired of baseball, boom, it's football season. Yeah. Just when you get tired of football, it's basketball season. So, right now we're trying to put some things together with Levtown and do a good job of covering it. We're actually looking for writers. We're looking for contributors. We're going to pay a competitive rate for, well-written stories. So, that's how we see, as the best way to cover local sports in Lebanon County. So, I'll probably get out to some soccer, some field hockey, maybe a little cross country, so, it's important. It's important for me to remind myself that I'm one person, and that, I'm not going to let this thing kill me. Right. Okay. I'm going to do as much as I can, as I possibly can, try to hit the highlights, when they're there, focus on football. But it's not going to put me in my grave, at least not yet anyway.
Good, man. Hey, thanks for sharing some time with us, dude. We'll see you on the road. I'm not going to see you in football season, but I'll see you in basketball season. I know.
Okay. Okay.
I think the Falcons will be really, really good this year in Section 1.
They have some kids coming back.
Yeah,
they do have some kids coming back.
We saw them this summer.
I think they had some success in the summer too, didn't they?
Yeah, we saw them a couple times in the summer, and they had a full complement of kids there, and they looked a little hungry. I know Tommy's been a little disappointed in the performances the last 2 years as far as.
Well, he made the playoffs all those years in a row. And then the last 2 or 3, they have it, I think. Yeah. So I know Tommy well enough to know that's a bug in his craw a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get after them. So I will see you in the Falcon Nest, and You know, I want to get back up to the barn too. That's my alma mater.
Okay.
Not that I've ever played in that place. It's so big. Somebody sent a picture of the old gym packed, and I'm like, yep, the floors, the boards didn't give a inch.
Yeah.
It's like it was all good. Thank you, man. Good luck to your.
I really appreciate that. They're always a class act. I always appreciate your time, and just keep doing what you're doing too.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot, bud.
Okay, thanks.